Columbia University continues to be at the center of the national conversation about campus protests against the war in Gaza. The situation at Columbia really did reach a climax this past week when NYPD officers were called in to clear out protesters occupying a building on campus, Hamilton Hall.
Student journalists were present for the dramatic campus raid, providing minute-by-minute coverage of the situation all over the place. Joining us now to discuss the experience of student journalists is Samaya Busby. She is the editor-in-chief of Blog. That is a student-run news site at Columbia. So, Samaya, thank you so much for being with us, first of all. Biggest news story comes right to your doorstep. Give us a sense of how this has been for you and so many of the other student journalists.
Thank you for having me. It's been an incredibly busy time for us as student journalists, but it's also been a fraught time for us as
Mm.
students at Columbia. Contending with both of those has been a challenge for everyone across every organization here that covers news at Columbia. It's a lot to contend with this growing gap between students and administration. But there's also covering this and the differences between what we see and what the outside media is seeing and presenting as well. So we've all kind of noticed this gap between the outside world and the internal world here at Columbia, but also students and admin themselves.
Yeah, talk to us a little bit about balancing, your schoolwork, in some cases getting ready for finals, and also covering this major story.
It's been difficult. I think I speak for every student reporter here when I say that studying for finals or doing essays and papers has been at the back of our minds. We believe that it's incredibly important for us to be able to get this coverage out because there's been limited press access to campus. So that's kind of been top priority for everyone who either leads a news organization like myself or everyone who's even a reporter in a news organization. And here at Blog, we've been incredibly busy doing so. I've been lucky enough to be able to complete some assignments, but of course, I'm still dealing with the after effects of that right now.
Yeah.
And while the university has given us some extensions,
Hmm.
a lot of students fear it's not enough.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the limited press access, right, from the outside world because people needed to show ID to get on campus and cover it. Talk about what that has been like, having this kind of exclusive access inside as these developments were unfolding. I'm sure a lot of the people that you are reporting on are fellow students, perhaps friends. What's that balance been like for all of you?
Yeah, it's been a lot of pressure to make sure that we're getting all of these events out there, at least published, photographed, because ultimately this is a very historical moment on top of being something that many people just don't have access to. And at first, press were able to come on campus after the first arrest on the 17th. Press were able to come on campus for about 2 hours a day. And so we were able to see other media outlets getting access to this, but now they've shut it down completely to where on Tuesday's arrest, uh, it was just student news organizations and a few other media. So I feel like it's really important for us to be there on the ground covering these things. But at the same time, I also want to cover a historical moment and
Mhm.
kind of use the site as an
Sure.
archive.
So in our final moments here, Columbia's president talked about returning to civil discourse. I'm curious, how do you, your fellow students, their journalists, and your school move forward from here? Do you think you've turned a corner where civil discourse will no longer be able to exist there, or do you think that'll be the case?
I think civil discourse can still exist. I do believe, though, that this gap between students and the administration will take a while
Mm.
to close. Uh, as a student and student reporter here, I can honestly say that many of us don't really know if administration knows exactly what our experience has been like and what our experience has been like, especially this past Tuesday as we were on the ground when the NYPD came. So I
Mhm.
think in general, the administration is maybe not as aware of the student experience, and that's something that they might have to.
Samaya, it's good to talk to you here. Thank you so much and best of
Thank
luck.
you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. Let Spectrum News be your resource for balanced, in-depth political coverage, and click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV to learn more about the candidates, where they stand on the issues, and more. We'll see you then.